So we're in Bitwig Studio 2. This has recently been released, and you would have seen in my channel that I've put together a couple of videos which are track playthroughs, and these are tracks that I've composed entirely in Bitwig Studio 2. I've got something on the go here, and this is something that I started working on my train journey earlier. And in this video, what I'm going to do is attempt to create a structure from an idea. This is a very common scenario, of course, and most people can lock down this kind of thing quite easily. So getting the musical idea down is one thing, turning it into an arrangement is another thing. So we're going to see what happens. Let me show you what I've got so far. Let's take a look at some of these in isolation. There's the drums, this is a group. Bass line coming from the FM4. Chord coming from sampler. Chord sample courtesy of the A Bit Deeper chords library. I'll put a link down below if you want to go and get that for yourselves. Another chord from the same library, this time in another sampler. Third chord. Synth solo. This is coming from the polysynth running through some effects. Let's take a look at the MIDI data. Couple of vocal samples.
Dancing.
A little bit cliched, but it works.
Hypnotizing.
So that's it. Now, much like Ableton Live, what we can do is we can take these clips and bring them through to the arrangement. So I'm going to push tab. You can see that waiting here. And what I can do is just push record and then play, and it's going to be triggering those clips. And we're going to see this thing start growing. So take a look. So I could just keep that recording, of course, but what I don't want to do is do that. So I'm going to pick these up, and I've just remembered actually I need to expand this to do so. So I'm going to select all of these and just going to pick them up from the edges and snap them in. So I've got myself an 8-bar section there. So I can use these to build my arrangement. Now, it's not very common to have everything starting straight away, so I'm going to do something about that. But before I do that, I'm just going to click the button up here. What it does is it switches everything over to this arranger track mode instead of the clip mode from the other side. So the other thing I'm going to do also is I'm just going to minimize the track heights so I can see what's going on. Now I know for sure my synth solo comes later. I'm just going to move that over. And some of you guys might have seen a technique that I've had on another video, which is this subtractive technique, which is to kind of copy over everything and then mute elements. I can do stuff a little bit different here. I know also that I'm not going to have these vocals just yet. I'm just going to move these out of the way. So I'm creating a kind of little sketch pad. Very common, of course, for club tunes to have beats to start off with. And maybe I don't have all of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to audition these. Maybe just take a couple out. Let's do this. I quite like that, the fact it's got that kind of stop-start nature to it. So I'm just going to duplicate these, and the elements that I muted, I'm going to take these out. I wonder whether that vocal could come in here. Let's see. It was a very short vocal stab. So we're getting a feel for this. Maybe I will bring the others in. I could also loop this. Okay, so what I'm feeling, no bass line just yet. Maybe that chord here. I don't want it to drop there. I need to keep momentum going.
Dancing.
going to duplicate it here. So okay, what I'm feeling is that I should have some kind of transitional thing leading into that bar 32, but that feels like so far that's flowing really quite nicely. I might stagger these over and then take these, just duplicate them. There's a danger that they're going to feel a little bit too repetitive, that's for sure. Let me just come up here, take all of these elements, duplicate these over continuously, keep the bass going. So we've got a real simple structure here, very DJ friendly. So I'm just getting my bearings again. Just gonna bring this sound down a bit. Don't ask me why I've got two instances of the DJ EQ. Let me take one away. Let's keep this chord going. So in fact, all of these are designed to work together. Okay, what I'm going to do is save that solo for later. I feel what I need to do is strip this back. I'm just starting to feel certain elements, so where I said before I need to get a transition coming in at bar 32, I'm now feeling that I need to have some kind of new percussive element. This is what happens for me, is that when I'm listening back to stuff, I start to hear things in my head, and particularly if I start looping things, it's very common for me to work on tracks and to not finish them in one session completely. I like to get the rough framework together and then try to do all the finishing touches another time, maybe after listening to it on loop, just whilst I'm kind of half asleep and stuff like that. The subconscious starts to come out, and that can be really good. So let me just keep the momentum going with these elements. Okay, so look, this one, let me just move that over. So we're going to kind of start again, and we're doing so with a different vocal in the first position, whereas the sync started here. This Vox 1 is now coming first in the order. So as well as some extra percussive elements, maybe some textural noises in the background as well. Right, that feels wrong for that chord to stop. It's almost like we start the cycle again and do this. Let's see how that feels. And I'm getting the feeling actually after this, it could be a good point just to have that chord. Maybe the kick. Let's just have a look. Okay, that synth, that needs to come later. So I think what we're doing here is we're stripping it down, not taking it all the way down, but maybe bringing in a clap, building the momentum back up. And I think this is going to come in after maybe some kind of a fill, and then we'd be looking at all of these elements back in again. So literally, whilst I'm arranging this out, it's almost like I said, my subconscious is starting to fill in those gaps. It's thinking, what am I going to need to make this feel complete and finished? So I'm feeling a fill leading into that, some atmospheric textures here. And you might want to make notes on a piece of paper, take down bar numbers and go, okay, yeah, I think I need to put this here. I tend to find that actually my memory's pretty good for creative stuff. It's not good for everything, but when I do this sort of thing, I generally tend to remember the sort of thing that I want to do here. Okay, so maybe the hypnotized vocal here. Let's just see how that feels over here. this needs to carry on. I'm almost feeling like some extra decay on the delay. Oh, there isn't a delay. Let me add one for the moment. So let's use delay 2. Change the delay time. Yeah, that's nice, that transition with those vocals. I might automate this. Yeah, okay, so what I'm looking for is to have the mix control low on this section. So let's just turn on the right automation. Let's get that in. I'm going to lead it up now. So we've got something new. And I might increase the feedback as well. Once more, then I'll take the mix down. Okay, so considering the mix gets turned up in that section, I could safely get away with increasing these feedbacks now. And let's take it back and have a listen to that coming in. Okay, that's good. Let me take that high cut up so we're not losing as much of the highs. Let's take the feedback up a bit more here and then take crossfeed in as well, so it's feeding back into the other channels. Yeah, that's great. You hear how that's basically creating a nice kind of transition leading into that next section. It's nearly there. Let me just zoom in. Okay, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that a little less regular because it feels like it's happening too often. Oh, okay, so that's basically a little loop. I'm going to cut this up so it's going to have its own properties. So let me take this one. Maybe just an easy way to do it is to do this. And actually that transitional one at the end, I would probably keep. Where was that? Did I just see it at the very end? Yeah, it's here. So once again, the knife. Let me cut this. There we go. Let's see how that feels. Much better with it less frequent. Okay, so what I should have done is taken this and brought it over. Okay, so my mistake. Let's have a listen again. Maybe the positioning isn't quite on. Let me try again. Okay, so I've cut the wrong part. Let me see what I'm doing here. Somehow I'm making mistakes. It does happen. Let me get my knife again. Let's cut here. Let's put this similar position over here and this one here. Let's listen to that. That was a really nice transition there. Maybe let's increase the hype a bit, bring the hat. Okay, let me just take that last kick out to signify something new's coming. I'm not sure about that solo synth just yet, but then again we need some other transitional things like crashes maybe. Let's see what happens next. Let me take these, bring these over, duplicate those. Let me see if that works coming in here, because what I'm planning on doing is then bringing that chord back here once this synth solo gets on the go. Actually, I've just remembered it's quite a long part. I don't know why it was shortened there. Let me just check that that's everything here. Yeah. So let me do this. And then we've got these other chord elements coming back whilst the synth solo starts developing and growing. So that should be good. Let's take these elements here, duplicate those. Let's have a listen from here.
Hypnotizing. Hypnotizing. Hypnotizing.
Okay, now I forgot that was a loop, so let me change that. So literally, I'm going to make a new copy, and then on here, just restore. Let me take away my knife. I don't know what I'm doing here. It's been a long day. So for some reason that is deciding to keep that knife pointer. I don't want that. Let me just move this over. So let's listen again. Whoa, okay. Just noticed I must have deleted that clip. Let's take this, bring this one over, and let's listen again.
Hypnotizing. Hypnotizing.
And whilst I'm here, I feel this percussion sound needs some reverb. That's lovely. Taking note of the time up here, 4:32, that's pretty good. I think what we're looking at is a structure here where it's really simple, gradually building up to that breakdown, about 2/3 of the way in. Actually, to be honest, eventually it's going to be about halfway. And then really just creating that DJ outro. I mean, very, very simple structure, but I think it really suits this particular piece of music. Let me take that sing without the effects on it, and let's see how this feels on this section. Just trying to think which one I want to keep running. Maybe I'll keep the hypnotize running, so I'm going to loop that. No, too early for that bass to stop. Just consolidating this into a new clip, because what I want to do is just drop that last clip kick over here. That's just to signify that the bass line is finished. Okay, so that's good. So I think the overall structure is there. Now, what I need to do is to add the kind of finishing touches, like I said, these extra elements. And what I'll do is I'll take a look at putting those together. And what I'll do is because I don't have enough time to finish this just now, but I will try and put those together either as a video in real time, or I will do a deconstruction of the elements that I add afterwards. As usual, if you have any questions, just give me a chat in the comments.